and having to close their doors.
But turning a church building into something new comes with its challenges. Josefa Cameron reports.
Cape Breton was calling me, so went home, went online, looked online. First thing that popped up was the church.
When Bryson Striker Lyons came to Cape Breton on a downhill skateboarding trip, it was love at first sight. But for his budget, there was no place to stay. It's been 6 years since they moved into the 100-year-old Presbyterian church. They insulated it, added windows in the bell tower, and spent $10,000 to drill a new well.
You know, we kept everything that we could, and just to keep that energy, because it was the energy that brought us here. So. Very magical old church, this church.
The hostel quickly became a hub for skiers, hikers, and skateboarders from around the world.
You know, being in the middle of the national park and all these trails and the beaches, we get tons of people that are, you know, traveling and looking to do outdoor exploring.
The pandemic brought about tough times, though. They couldn't continue to afford renovations with fewer guests.
And we have angels looking over us, but we have an old piano.
Then, gift cards, Easter dinners, and envelopes of cash began to show up at their door.
You know, this community taught me the true meaning of community. Like, I know community, but I didn't know this kind of community. You know, Cape Breton Island community. Like, people have had it hard on this side, and they sure know how to take care of each other, and it was so special, and I'll never forget that.
Risking it all and trusting that it would all come together, they say paid off. To maintain this as a healing place.
It was a no-brainer. It was like, the sign was there, but, you know, everything was against us financially, and, you know, but it had to happen no matter what.
Yeah.
And
it's just been so rewarding. Like, there wasn't any part of it that was easy, but it was just so worth it.
Downtown Sydney, St. Andrew's United Church was repurposed as the Highland Arts Theatre. Wesley Colford came home for what they thought was going to be one theatre production, but ended up staying for 9 years.
Obviously, Cape Breton has such a long and cherished history of artists of all kinds, especially musicians, but storytellers, playwrights, dancers, all, you know, you name it, visual artists. And for the performing arts, there hasn't really been a home, at least not in Sydney. So we've really been a sort of magnet for all of the incredible talent that exists throughout all of Cape Breton, but especially here in downtown.
Now, Colford says the church building is not only the host, but it's almost a character in the theatre community. With its grand neo-Gothic architecture and a 3,000-pipe organ, it is still standing strong. The renovation and repair costs have been millions of dollars, from fixing leaking pipes to replacing pews with theatre seats. No easy feat, considering the theatre relies on a pay-what-you-can model.
Everybody gets to come here and have an amazing experience, laugh, cry, be entertained, be moved, and ultimately leave together feeling a little bit more connected. And that's what churches have done for hundreds of years at their best of times. And that's what the theatre does at its best of times as well.
Colford says the spirit of the church lives on, and some members of the congregation have even joined the theatre's programming. Reverend Stephen Mills was the last full-time minister of St. Andrew's before it became the Hat. He says the church was seeing fewer and fewer congregants and less financial support.
Lots of memories for me of the people that were here, of the events that took place, and of the history. I'm a fan of history of churches, but also communities. So I'm kind of proud to be part of that history as well.
And do you miss it at all? Do you miss being a minister here?
Well, of course, yeah, I miss the people and just the venue. It's just a wonderful place to be in and to stand up and see the people out there. But I also welcome the change.
When Mary and Norm Campbell returned home from Alberta in 2019, they bought Vickers View in Big Bedeck. It's where Mary's family went for decades. But in recent years, there were only about 5 congregants.
It's a beautiful building, and it means a lot to the community, and it means a lot to us. So we were very fortunate to acquired.
Once a church, library, and even post office, Mary and Norm tried to preserve the church's unique quirks.
When I took the partition off on the second floor balcony, you could see all the scribed pencil marks and little notes, things like that from at that time. You know, those kind of things are really interesting, you know, and it gives you respect for the tradesmen of the day.
During renovations, they repainted, updated the sewage system, and took out walls and doors.
We'll get the support too. People, I think, appreciate seeing things, you know, refurbished and reused, retooled. Versus,
especially if it's like a happy building. This is always a great building to come into. Even as a church, you felt welcome when you walked in the front door.
A concert series was born to make use of the acoustics that only a church can have. Mary and Norm hope bringing people together through music will build a sense of community, the same way the church did years ago. Josepha Cameron, CBC News, Sydney.
Such beautiful structures, it's wonderful to breathe the new life into
It's
them.
so nice to see. The architecture is great to save it.
Worth visiting for sure. All right, we're making now a way for